WHPC.
The Career Development Service Area of the Department of Student Personnel Services is pleased to provide you with a copy of the 2014 to 2015 edition of our Career Guide. The guide is the result of a collaborative effort involving the Career Counseling Center, the Job Placement Office, and the Transfer Office. It is designed to acquaint students with our services, provide them with useful information about career planning process, and assist them in making a successful transition to their next academic institution or the world of work. If you need more info, call the Career Counseling Center at 572-7696. This message was brought to you by WHPC 90.3 FM, the radio voice of Nassau Community College.
You're listening to the Motor Mouth.
As the Earth cooled and the oceans formed...
Hi, Motor Mouth.
Hi, is this that crazy car show that I hear about all the time when I'm at lunch?
You guys stimulate us so we can rock and roll. That's what we need.
Thank you, gentlemen, for this program.
Motor Mouth.
Wow, you guys have been having a lot of fun on the weekend.
You are the best, Ray. You're so sweet. I thank you so much for allowing me to do this.
All right, clear.
Listen to me. You can't make this nonsense up.
Motor Mouth.
You guys are idiots.
See, that's why I love calling this show.
It's obvious that they know just enough to be dangerous and get themselves in trouble.
If anybody catches any wrong answers, I completely deny any responsibility whatsoever.
Motor Mouth.
I thought you were supposed to turn your radio off.
Who, me?
Yeah.
It is off.
Last year, some guy blew his fan belt, and then somebody else lost the wheel, and...
Our trained staff of 2 will help.
I really appreciate your help, and I enjoy listening to the show.
Quite frankly, there are better things to do with your time.
When do I change the battery?
Now. Here's the thing. I answer that question probably half a dozen times a week.
Yeah, I want to know what the is wrong with my car.
Yeah, you see, you've inspired me. Chris, I got some bad news.
Uh-oh.
I've got a problem with my Johnson.
Motor Mouth.
You guys are great promoters yourselves, apparently.
There was a time where you scoffed at me when I said I was doing a show on this station.
Oh, me?
Yes, you.
I still do.
There are answers, sometimes correct ones, and we may have them.
Motormouth Radio, 90.3 FM, WHPC.
Motor Mouth.
This is Motormouth Radio, your one-hour automotive talk show. And now, here are your Motormouths, Chris Switzer and Ray Guarino.
All right, did you ever wake up with a typical type of car in your head? Well, you're getting away lucky because we wake up with thousands. This is Motormouth Radio, your one-hour automotive talk show, right here on Long Island. I'm Chris Switzer. And of course, here's an we're going to celebrate the big game today by working in the garage. No. He'll tell you all about it right from behind the shop bench. It's Ray Guarino. How are you, my brother?
Very good, Chris.
Yes.
But that's only after I introduce the fellow next to me. He's our truss rod, keeping our bobbling necks on track and our flat wounds fixed.
Woo!
It's the one and only Mr. Joe D. He knows what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have no clue.
Rod nice and, you have to have it nice and tight so you can sight down it. You know,
you got to sight down your truss rod?
Yeah.
I've had one of those evenings.
Once you remove it from your pants. No.
Yeah, keep your flat wounds fixed.
At all times. Because other than that, they'll punish you and give you round wounds.
True.
And then the next thing you know, actually bass players will start catching on to that.
All righty. Well, try and
But actually, I woke up with cars on my head. See, and then you get them in your head, I get them on my head. And I wake up, I was like, what was it? Oh, yeah, that's right. I was a short, yeah.
You ever try and get out from under the car, and, of course, your head hits something, and you're like, oh, and it's the pain, the throbbing. It's before the throbbing starts.
No, usually I wake up and then, you did it again. You hit your head, right, coming out from under the car. I'm like, oh, yeah, what did I miss? The last 10 minutes. It's okay. It's inspirational.
You got this big black mark across your forehead.
Yeah. The blood.
No, I mean you have a big black mark across your forehead now. No.
Oh. I gotta stop sleeping on the tire.
You can see the big black mark on Joe D's forehead. Because we're on VaughnLive.tv/Motormouth Radio. At least most of us are. I'm going to try and fix it so the rest of us are. Are we on? I can't even tell.
Are we on?
Yeah. I don't even. Is this thing on? You can see Joe. That's
There's your
fine. 516-572.
Oh, with the big black marks on top of your head.
Yes. The lack of the big black mark. 7440. There's the phone number to get a hold of us right here, right now on Motormouth Radio. Joe, how was the week? I already knew how the week was for Ray. How was the week?
It's been getting busier.
Yeah, it has.
People have dug out their cars, driven them around, broken stuff.
Of course.
Yeah, no, I mean, what we see, not so much work for me, but they're coming in with, like, bent rims, a lot of heat, a lot of splash shields hanging down. I mean...
Now, why is that when we're just talking about snow? Or does it have anything to do with anything a little bit colder?
Yes, snow's got something to do with it. It must be hanging up in there. But all I know is that there's a lot of cars dragging stuff around, and then we've pretty much gone through the drawer of those plastic fasteners. You know, we keep the drawer of, like, of hardware, nuts, bolts, whatever.
I call them cute little things.
Right, exactly. And the ones, the little Christmas tree jammies, they're just about all gone. Because they've all, like, we've all trying to push stuff back up, and, because otherwise you get these really cool noises, and people come in thinking, like, what's going to explode? Cars coming in on tow trucks. It's just a plastic shield hanging down, but wow.
I love the noise they make. Really,
yes.
Especially when one side's hanging, the other side is still attached, and it kind of, as the car is traveling, it develops like a rhythm. So it's like whop, 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 whop. And there's been times where I've seen people completely oblivious driving along, and that shield is thump, 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 just smacking the bottom of the car. And I'm like,
oblivious is one thing; it's the ones that are headbanging to it. That's the ones you got to be careful.
That becomes a sympathetic rhythm, and it actually will work in concert with the resonance frequency of the car at whatever given speed it's driving at.
And it will become...
There's your science moment.
That's it. Ray is absolutely right. And, of course, we know what the answer to that is. Turn up the bass.
Yeah, right. Joe, you segued perfectly into something that I spoke about earlier. I noticed in 2 days, yesterday and this morning, on the way to our other adventure, I saw in 2 days 2 cars on the Meadowbrook Parkway, both turned the wrong way, piled up against the guardrail, with nobody else around them.
That's amazing.
1 car accident, and both of them, of course, when they went over the curb, the shielding was ripped, the tires were facing the wrong way, the headlights were broken, everything, and guys outside the car, of course, on the phone looking around like, huh? And I mentioned it earlier. I think what it is these guys, they were both more, one was a European, one was European, one was an Asian car, but they were kind of lowered, not like tuner car lowered, but, performance lowered, and I would bet dollars to donuts that they were both driving on more of a performance-oriented tire, not a winter or an all-season tire.
You're in my head again.
And they found...
You're in my head again.
And, on the inform board it says, road may be slippery, exits and entrance may be slippery, slow down. These guys are driving outside the realm of their abilities of the car.
Right. Science doesn't apply to those guys. You spend enough money, you buy the right... you do enough stuff, modifications to your car, physics no longer applies.
Yeah. Right.
Let's see if physics applies right now. We're going to go to the phones. We're going to go to the fun. We're going to say hi around with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, good morning out there on the East Coast. Are you cold and toasty?
Cold and toasty?
That's
warm and roasty.
Time. This way you're in your car nice and toasty, you get out, and then you're cold.
What's up, Bronk? How are you, brother?
I'm doing good, but I hate cars. The older I get, the more I hate these freaking things. And I hate people who drive cars more than cars themselves, because the cars have no mind. Right? And it's simple.
Dude, a lot of the drivers don't either.
The old cliche, when you need your car repaired, and just what you guys were saying about pieces hanging off, and they wait until they fall off and get shoved under the engine, or fan belt flies off, whatever the case may be. So now, instead of paying $1 to have the repair, now it costs you $100 on a tow truck. So I had a friend of mine come in, and he had a 2005 F-150. Okay, simple Triton motor, no big deal. So he said he brought it over to a shop, and are you ready for this?
What?
They told me he needs a number 6 coil pack, but he doesn't have spark plugs. So
he doesn't have
all
spark
right,
plugs.
let that process a little bit, okay?
You can't see him on that engine.
Right? Yeah, and it's better. That's where the story goes.
I was going to say it was a diesel?
No.
I know. Yeah, with coil packs? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, actually, he left off the rest of the sentences. This truck does not have spark plugs. That we want to change, because nobody wants to mess with them.
Put in.
Well, Chris, do you remember the year one of the years we were at the New York Auto Show, and they had when the Triton engine came out, they had one on a stand, and you and I stood there and said, where the hell are the spark plugs?
Yes, we did.
We couldn't see it. We had to ask somebody who had the truck, and then he showed us, and we said, oh, my God, what that's going to be like for service. So that's what's going on here.
Especially number 4, and Joe probably knows that 4. One in the back left-hand corner. What a pain. And they got so much plumbing and crap on top of it and little tiny wires on a coil pack. It makes it just a pain in the neck job.
So what'd you do?
To make a long story short, where I'm going with this story was that they said, well, You got 130,000 miles on it. How long do you have the truck? Well, I bought it in 2007. Well, when did you change the plugs last? Because he was getting a slight misfire, a little bit of lack of power, and poor gas mileage.
Right.
So he says, never.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay. So I said, before we go anywhere with a number 6 coil pack, let's put a set of plugs in. Chances are they're burnt out.
Right.
Which they were, right? You agree with that?
I'm with you all the way on this.
So far,
all right.
Mm-hmm.
So go to take it apart. Simple 8 spark plugs, 7.5 hours later, get the plugs out. Had to use a 3-foot breaker bar to get some of the plugs out because they were so buried in the well there.
Wow.
I actually torqued a 3/8 extension. Torqued it from trying to get the freaking plug out of the engine. Right? So it's just one of those nightmare jobs. So what I'm getting at is people have in their car this little Spanish guy in the glove compartment. You know his name? It's Emmanuel. Okay? It's a foreign language across the board.
Called English.
And nobody understands. And in our little Spanish friend Emmanuel, there's a service interval guide. It tells you what parts need to be serviced,
right,
time, mileage, and or.
Sure.
Now, if he would have followed the service on this, it wouldn't have caused all these problems and down the line.
Uh-huh.
So if people just take the time, okay, 30,000 miles, 50,000 miles, do this, and this, the vehicles will be easy to maintain.
Sure.
All right? They'll be dependable. You'll be used, in most cases, a lot less tow trucks. So the cliche comes down is, you're going to pay me now, or you're going to pay me more later, but you got to pay me. So might as well do it at your convenience.
Exactly. Right, where it doesn't involve a tow truck.
There you go.
Very
so
true.
That's my rant for the day.
You are very lucky that them things didn't. That's the one with the long nose that extends down below the...
real long, and it's got a horseshoe on the bottom of the electrode, so it's not the typical L-shaped electrode.
Right.
No, it's a real strange plug, and it's only a 9/16 nut on the end of it.
That is correct.
So you need a deep socket, right, to cover the nut there. And I did 2 other F-150s, right, and I was shedding it when the first one wouldn't come out. Go for the easiest one first to see, if they're going to break free.
Sure.
And then, when the first one don't come out, when you get to that number 4 plug, you're going to have a headache. And we did.
Wow, that's amazing.
Fortunately,
you got real lucky with that.
I found it was easy. By pulling the battery out was the only way to get that 3-foot breaker bar in to get that number 8 plug underneath the computer.
I'm surprised you didn't pull the hood off it. But anyway,
well, it wasn't a problem. I'm little, so I was able to stand up under the hood. That wasn't a problem.
Well, Bronk,
especially now, at this age, you shrink.
You shrink it. You got to take a break.
Thing going.
Bronk, thanks so much for the rant. We appreciate it.
Great. Give me a call during the week. Let's get caught up and say hi. And Ray and Joe, have a great week. You guys stay healthy and be safe with those idiots on the road.
So long, Joe.
So
long, Joe.
Is this a hit? Wrong? Okay, see ya.
I was saying, Joe, let's say so long to the... I don't know. It's been a long day already, all right?
516-572-7440 is the phone number, and the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. Drivers that can't get in and out of a vehicle without making a noise. Just like Bronk can't get out from under the engine without making a noise of some sort. But if you can't get out of the car without a grunt or a groan, you're part of the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. Keep it where you go. Right.
With your car questions, give us a call at 516-572-7440.
WHPC 90.3, the radio voice of Nassau Community College, is looking for individuals, businesses, charities, or organizations in our local and global community that would like to donate to support our radio station. Whether you listen locally or online, here is how it works. Go to our webpage at ncc.edu/WHPC and click Donate Now. Or if you prefer, you can send a check to WHPC Radio, 1 Education Drive, Garden City, New York, 11530. Make check payable to the NCC Foundation. In the memo of your check, write WHPC Donate Now. Any contributions will help defray our operating costs, and it's tax deductible. This message was brought to you by the radio voice of Nassau Community College, streaming online at ncc.edu/WHPC.
This is a potted plant. You can't see it because this is radio.
And you're listening to the Motor Mouths.
Alrighty, welcome back to Motormouth Radio. and we are going to be taking those calls. We're also expecting a call from Mr. John Day of Day Distributing. Will be calling us up right here at Motormouth Radio in a few minutes. Joe D is with us here. I'll be Don Canoli. Of course, Ray Guarino. I'm Chris Switzer. We're going to the phones, and we're going to the fun. We're going to say hi hello at the Motormouths. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Excellent.
Close enough.
Close enough.
And who is this?
John Day from Canada.
John, how are you, sir? Welcome to Motormouth Radio.
Oh, cool. Just makes my day because I didn't want to do anything and chill and just talk stuff. Was cool.
Well, that's it. You're in the
right place for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's the Chris behind you there?
Well, that's Chris, and Joe D is with us as well. Yeah, I'm over here, and Joe is over there to my right. Well, you recognize me.
Right, you recognize the guy in the middle here.
Let me introduce John. I met John on Lou Santiago's Blab channel, playing in Blab, yeah. Blab, it's one of those days, Joe.
Wow, Blab, yeah, I know.
John is a distributor for Pathfinder lubricants, and he was, of course, talking about it on the Blab channel.
I was actually watching it at the time.
You know, we had some conversations, and then off air we shared some email. I said, hey, you'd be a perfect guest for the radio show, so let's talk about it on the radio. So, John, tell us all about Pathfinder, and give us the nutshell sell in a handbasket.
Well, pretty simple. Obviously we're a Canadian company, 100%. I got into it about 25 years ago, and I had my Grand National at the time, and I was having some problems. And this guy taps me on the shoulder in the bank, and he sees my jacket there, and they were looking for people on the commercials and that. So I got to test this stuff in the Grand National, and I was just awesome because the temperature drop was huge, and I tested it in each piece, so I'm very pleased. But we got an oil additive, and I mean additive, not a quart of motor oil or tranny oil, because additives go into those products to make them last longer, and we're a high film strength product. So that's just been coming out now in the oil industry of shearing and film strength. That hasn't been around since about 88. Mm-hmm. So Pathfinder is a unique product that way, and we only use a little bit.
Right.
Because in a quart of oil, you got 80-90% of base crude oil. Then the rest is what I call the vitamins, and there's like 30 different products in it. So it's quite meticulous to make a product, like that. Then we got a fuel additive. You use 1 ounce to 15 U.S. gallons, or 55 liters for our Canadian friends. And a spray lubricant. And our grease. And, we're on the top of the field now. We've been doing this nanotechnology. Everybody's got a catchphrase,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Supersize, this and that.
Yeah.
So we're a little different than the other technologies. The other ones will plate metals, like a Teflon or ceramic coatings, which is an excellent product. So we want to reduce the wear in between moving, sliding, rolling parts. And our product is 1 micron thick, or thin if you wish. That's 1/80th of a hair. So we will not change the viscosity of an oil, and we don't plate, so we're not closing up ports and stuff like that, So that's kind of the nutshell basics, because guys are trying to, change viscosities, and they're usually doing the wrong things. They're not checking the fuel management problems. They're not changing their spark plugs. I loved your spark plug show the other day. It was cool. The guy was right on the money, and you were too. So
right.
But,
thank you, John. Well, let me ask you a question that I asked on Blab, because when I heard you talking about the Ricon additive, it reminded me of what I used to use years ago. It was a straight PTFE made by not Slick 50. Tough Oil was the name of the stuff.
Tough Oil.
Oh, yeah, they've been around a long time, too, yeah.
And I had great results with it. I actually had results that I could point to using lubricant. At least I believed I could. So I asked how that compared to like the Raycon 1 that you guys sell. And talk about that a bit.
Sorry. We work with the oil. We don't plate the metals. Other products like Tough Oil and that, they got to bond molecularly to metal parts. Mm-hmm. And don't forget, when you're not hearing much of some of these products now because of the engine components are varied metals. In the old days, everything was steel and iron. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't too hard to help reduce friction and improve performance, So with the metal treatment, you're hoping that it's going in the places that it needs. And odds are most of these products won't do any damage. They're only going to help improve. And it's usually people that are over their warranty period, that haven't done much in the way of maintenance, the cheap oil change and filters and that. So a metal treatment, you can change tolerances, or it may plug up in a bad spot that you don't know because we can't look in an engine.
That's true. Sure. John, let me ask you, our good friend and motorcycle engine builder, Christian out at Mach Modified, just sent me a text, and he wants me to ask you about tungsten disulfide. And I don't know if he's using it. I think maybe he is, but he'd like to know what your thoughts are on that product, if you have any.
When you get down to the science part, some of it I don't know because I'm not a tribologist, but calcium is an anti-wear agent. And then, it's like you take an aspirin, and now you make it a bufferin, so they add another chemical to it to make it last a little longer, disperse a little bit better, Mm-hmm. So there's nothing wrong with that, and if it works, use it.
Okay, sure. All right.
Mm-hmm. It's quite simple that way. Everybody's got to try something because, you're using it in your daily driver, your Buick, but the guy's doing it in his 56 Ford, another guy's doing it in his brand new Elantra, So each is a different driving experience, and you got to suit your need, what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm sure this is coming from. I know Christian does a lot of high performance engine coating for the race engines. He says they're interested in stuff that's 0.05 microns thick, which is a real thin hair. So.
Well, we're 1 micron.
Okay.
And that's at a full dosage of application rate at 1 ounce per quart.
Right.
So in an automatic transmission, we can alter the amount used, and we only use like 1/3 of an ounce per quart because we only want to lubricate the valve body to shift better, and we don't need the higher film strength. Mm-hmm. We just need to improve the film strength of a lubricant.
I gotcha.
John, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we want to talk more about this. So,
awesome. I'll take a sip of water and listen on.
Yeah, exactly. So hold on, and we'll be coming right back with John Day from Dave Distributing. We're talking about Pathfinder Lubricants and their products right here on Motormouth Radio. Ray Guarino, Joe D, Obi Don Canoli, and a whole bunch of cast of thousands all rocking and rolling on Motormouth Radio or something close to that.
We'll be 572-7440. Oh, I should have said the Motormouth thing.
This is a potted plant. You can't see it because this is radio.
You're listening to the Motormouth.
Bill Horan presents Secrets of Success, the show designed to help listeners uncover their hidden talents to maximize success. Listen to Secrets of Success Wednesdays at 4 p.m. and Sundays at 7:30 a.m. on 90.3 FM WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Streaming at ncc.edu/WHPC.
Have a quick someone else's car, then give the Motormouths a call. 516-572-7440.
All right, don't grab a hold of those phones yet because we have John Day on the line from Day Distributing talking about Pathfinder Lubricants and all kinds of fine products. And talking about the transmission fluid right there.
John, I want to move this along a little bit. I love the name of the product. I want you to talk about Flowtorch a little bit.
Flowtorch.
Very cool. I love the name. Whoever named it was genius.
Yeah, we're putting together the series of the Flow product lines. We got something else out there too. But the Flowtorch, why we call it torch for one, is because odds are you're not going to use one. This is a penetrant lubricant in one can, and it creeps real quick, real fast, and leaves a film strength like the Rycon does, our oil additive. So when you spray it, you tap everything with a wood mallet, whatever, and blow away the debris. Now, it will creep, as I was saying, at least a micron or more, and it will creep up. A lot of products will go down.
Right.
And it doesn't dry down like other products. So when it wicks in, it also helps break down rust and sludge. Okay, it's not a rust proof, okay, but it reduces the corrosion. That's the biggest thing in today's metals is the corrosion factors. But now you got an old 1931 Ford or whatever, and you take a bolt out and you can only have that one. They're hard to replace. You put it back in, it leaves a lubricant. So it reduces the corrosion. Excuse me.
John, what about in instances where you have dissimilar metals? Because that's where I find the biggest problem with frozen bolts and the debris left behind.
Right. When it creeps in, it starts to eat up rust and sludge. Where you use just a basic penetrant, it gets through and you hope to get it to squeak. Here's the difference. When these metals bond, you've got to, shock them loose or use a torch. In most cases, our product will take care of it. One of the best scenarios I've seen was a brake adjuster. My mechanic took it off an old Dodge, and Johannes is a really strong guy. And he went 20 feet, sprayed it, came back to me. The plunger on the end fell out. He could adjust it. In a sense, you're kind of vibrating the materials that are in between that are bonding it. In a sense, it's creeping in and eating it up.
Right.
Like my old van where I test a lot of products, just before the rear wheel on the old Venture there, they rot out. So I sprayed the heck out of it there. And about 2 months later, I came back. All the rust was just gone, just a sheet of paint.
John, that's pretty amazing because I've always had bad luck with spray penetrants where I've always found that they do little, they promise a lot, and that really is a tall order that what you just said worked.
Chris, actually we all in this room, we all have our own favorite penetrants that we've used over the years, and callers have expressed that too. I was just watching a little bit of a TV show before where they were going to get a truck ready for taking the rear suspension apart. He says, of course, take the rust buster of your choice and spray it. And the guy sprayed it like it was hairspray. He hit everything. It's like, you got to get that interface between the threads of the nut and the bolt, if you can, and let it work its way in there. And most people just, spray the whole underside of the vehicle.
Most of the products on the market are very clean, like a sewing machine oil or a hydraulic oil. So they're very thin and clean to get into an area. And if you don't vibrate the metals that are bonding, it's just going to stay there.
Right.
Like we can't perform miracles, but boy, we hardly can keep it in stock. We've tripled our production line just this year, and a lot of companies are using it. But
that's a testament.
It doesn't dry down like others. So being a high film strength too, you want to make sure you wipe it down if you were putting that bolt back in to re-torque.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
It will change, so we don't want to use it on certain things like that because of the high film strength of 200,000 psi.
Yeah, right.
Most oils are around 30,000, and our products will take about 500 to 550 degrees in temperature.
John, if people go to the website, daydistributing.ca, they can watch a series of videos where you test these lubricants on a machine where it's a mechanical interface between a rotating wheel, if you will, and another piece of metal, and that's where the lubricant is added. And there's a lever arm that's about a foot long, it looked to be, and you add weights to that to preload that interface, and at some point it will stop and smoke, and that's it, it's done. And of course you show how different lubricants are higher performance, and then of course your own products are in there as well.
Right.
What's the name of that machine? Does that have a specific name?
A lot of guys want to say Timken, but it's not an actual Timken. No. It's a modified machine to show us the film strength and shearing qualities of a lubricant. Mm-hmm. Now, why they developed the machine like that many years ago with the old Wins and Bardol guys, if you talk to them, when additives first came out, the oil drums were, say, all black and no markings, so they didn't know which one had the EP additive in it, so they would use a machine similar to that to define the motor oil and the gear oil.
Right, gotcha.
Now, what that does is there's a bearing race on the shaft there, and then we have a roller bearing in the little vise, and we have a little bath that we put in the lubricant and oil or whatever, and then we add the weights. Now, each weight is 1 pound physically, but when you're touching an area of 215 thousandths, it will come up to 200,000 psi. So
it's exponentially, it's exponential.
So the difference between your base oil, say it was 5 or 6 weights, and then you use a synthetic and it's 7 or 8 weights, that's the shearing qualities of the better oils.
Right.
And then I can throw debris into that oil, like sand, metal filings, solvents.
That's fun.
When I do manufacturing and stuff like that, to see, what reaction it will have in their environment.
Right. So, John, do us a favor. Tell us how people can find you, how they can find the products, how they can find information on it. I know you want to get distributorship down here in the United States, but for now, tell everybody how they can find, how they can go check the stuff out and learn a little bit about it.
Well, my website is www.daydistributing.ca, and they can email me at daydistributing@simpatico.ca, and you'll have all my phone numbers and addresses there on the contact list. And I love questions. I love to troubleshoot. That's the most fun of it all, trying to solve an issue. And if I can't, I have a tribologist that I can call right away and possibly get an answer for the clients, because I do everything, as long as it's got oil, fuel, and grease, I'm there.
Sounds like us in the studio.
Yeah. You should smell it over here.
Well, how's the weather down there?
It's cold. It's cold. We had a little snow the other day, but it cleared.
You're talking to a Canadian.
I was going to say it's relatively.
Right, relatively. It's nice. Beautiful.
I've got nothing in Newmarket, Ontario.
Wow, go figure. Huh?
Really? What's the temperature?
I think it's just -5 or something.
Oh, Celsius or?
That'll be Celsius.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
So we figure that's around 28, 27, 28 degrees Fahrenheit.
Man, I wish they didn't do all that metric stuff. It drives me nuts.
It keeps us hopping. That's for sure.
Well, John, we'll keep spreading the good word about
very
Pathfinder.
Stuff, yeah.
And we'll be looking for you on the Blab channel again. I
know I'll be watching.
Always looking to speak to you on that again, and we'll keep in touch, and we'll keep this thing rolling. We'll keep people informed about this.
Thanks for having me on. It's really interesting. It's just like being in the garage with all your buddies and hacking things out and finding out things and solving problems, but having a blast too.
Excellent. That's what we like to call
it.
You betcha.
All right, John. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care, guys.
Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks, John. Bye-bye. John Day from Day Distributing right here at Motormouth Radio.
Yeah, it was funny, Chris. When I first saw John on the Blab channel, his face comes up because it's video, and I saw the word, what I thought it was Path F, and I thought Pathfinder. Right. I'm like, why would he have a giant Nissan Pathfinder banner behind him?
It really likes the truck.
And I didn't realize that was, and I saw all these bottles of lubricant, and I said, who is this guy? And then I found out, I said, okay, makes sense.
Ray Guarino, Joe D, Obi Don Canoli, I'm Chris Switzer. This is Motormouth Radio, your one-stop shopping for all things automotive. And you can check us out on Performance Motorsports Network. You could also check us out on iHeartRadio. You can watch us on BawnLive.tv/Motormouth Radio. And, of course, if you missed any of this mess, go to motormouthradio.com. Covers it. There it is, right there. It's all covered for you, and we'll be back. 516-572-7440.
7440. Oh, I should have said Motormouth then.
You got the touch! Tune in every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. and hear a program unlike any other. Join me, host Justin Greenberg, as I play music that I promise you're not going to hear anywhere else, and some hits that you'll be singing along to with as well. It's Saturday Rock, Saturdays at 9 a.m. on 90.3 FM, WHPC, the radio voice of Nassau Community College in Garden City, New York.
Ooh, yeah! Let the Motormouth help you with all of your car questions at 516-572-7440.
That's right, we're back, and we're bad. It's Motormouth Radio, your one-stop shopping. 516-572-7440. Joe D, Ray Guarino, I'm Chris Switzer. All just million of talking shop. And if you missed any of the interview with John Day from Day Distributing, check it out on the download page on motormouthradio.com. I'll get this out.
Which should be under the banner that should show up soon, because we should make the announcement. We can't leave people in the dark here, Chris.
Oh, of course we can.
Yeah, well,
we've left people in the dark in the past.
We usually do.
That's
but
right.
For the regular Sunday listeners who didn't get the email about it, we will not be airing any live Thursday shows for the conceivable future because of some changes that we had to make in personal changes. So now Thursday show will be a repeat.
They locked this out. Come on, just be honest. They locked this out.
Well,
yeah, right.
Thursday show will be a repeat of this. So if you hear this again Thursday, it's not because there's anything wrong. It's just because we're not here.
Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Flashbacks, so don't worry.
Right.
Do not consult your physician.
But we're here now. 516-572-7440. That's where we are.
Are you up for a bit of a quiz, Mr.
Quiz.
Ooh. Well, it's a one-shot question, really. It's just something that I ran across.
Okay.
The question is, what is a Dion tube? Or Dion tube? Small D-E, capital D-I-O-N.
Yes.
And the answers are...
Okay.
A would be a semi-independent suspension design that uses a tube separate from the differential and axle shafts to connect the rear wheels to each other. It's used on current Smart for 2 cars and some older, usually small cars.
Okay.
Or B, a new east-west subway line scheduled to open in London this summer, the Dion tube. Or C, a collapsible steering column design from the early 70s that's still in use on most or all new light-duty trucks and some new rear-wheel drive cars.
Wow.
I don't know if you were aware of that, Joe. I was not.
What, the Dion tube?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken,
the Dion.
The Dion tube. That's the remix.
Does it sing The Wanderer if you hit the right
reservoir? If you keep, it would make you think that it would keep the car very stable from wandering around.
There you go.
Right. And the Dion is the remix. I'm assuming...
Okay, answer that.
I'm assuming it's actually an old design, and it's A, right? The Dion tube came out like in the turn of the century, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right, Joseph?
Right. You're right on the money there.
I didn't know that. They didn't say when it came out.
There ain't no computer here. Look, I used the noodle.
The schnoodle.
The schnoodle, yes.
Yeah. That's actually that little linky thing. If you look at it, it looks kind of familiar.
Can I show?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Show the little linky thing.
That was something that was.
There's that shiny little object. Is the
It's a big tube.
The Dion tube right there. The suspension thing. Yes.
The other thing another group. Yeah. The other thing I want to show you was last week we spoke about four-wheel alignments on cars.
Right.
And I asked you if you got the nice colorful chart.
Yes.
Yes.
You should be getting the colorful chart.
This is what you should have gotten. Either that or, Chris, you should have gotten this.
No.
And what it shows you is the caster camber, thrust angle, toe in, toe out.
I never got any of this.
Well, like I said, when they set the car up, the technician will fire the machine, and he'll take a snapshot of how what the car reads at that moment. And of course, he'll adjust tire pressures, and they should remove any extra weight from the car if it's full of camping gears in there or whatever. And then they give you a snapshot of all the angles as they read at that time. Mm-hmm. Then he'll go into the computer and get the information. Here it'll tell you, see, this is a sliding scale. It shows you a range, it goes from 2 to 4 degrees. And it'll show you, in this particular case on my car, I had actually read 3.7 degrees, which was within the range.
Right.
They'll pull that out, and then if something is out of range, they'll tweak it in and get another shot, and that's how you know. You would ask, how do you know? This is how you know. Back in the 80s, the first four-wheel alignment machine I saw was a Hunter machine that was at North Shore Tire. And it was a lot cruder. They had a screen. They didn't have the ability to do a printout at that time, so the technician could see it, but they didn't have the printout. This is now all done right out of that computer.
Very tasty.
It's pretty foolproof. What you could do is the tech is actually just watching where things are. He could stand by the car and just kind of get things into the green, as opposed to running back and forth. And then again, too, if you get somebody who comes back after hitting enough manhole covers, and those numbers aren't the same anymore. It's like, look, this is what we sent you out with. This is where you're at now. So
you have some sort of reference.
So use the good eye when you drive.
Well, the other thing is if they send the car out and the customer hits something to send the alignment out, right, and comes back and says, hey, since you looked on my car, and pulls to the right, they can pull that up and say, hey, well, you know what, this is what it was when you left. This is what it is now when you came in. So, since you left the shop, you hit something, you bozo.
Let's go to the phones, go to the fun, see what we can hit, and say hi around with the Motor Mouths.
Hello, Chris. Hello, Professor Ray. Hello, Joey D. This is a national holiday. It's Super Bowl Sunday.
Ready,
you guys
Joe.
know that.
Ready, Ray? 3, 2, 1. What's up, Bubble Yum? What are you doing?
Well, hey, I'm with Cousin Joe, and we're getting ready for this national holiday. How you guys
It's All Saints Day, right? It's Trash Day.
It's the United States national holiday for Super Bowl Sunday.
No, Joe. No, Howie. That's not a national holiday.
You know, for some interesting news, John just texted me and said about the calcium disulfide.
Yeah.
He said it's a surface protective additive. If it works, use it. Oil analysis will give you the best answer to your success on that. So just to follow up on that, John Day did give us.
And the reason why, just getting back, the reason why it's not a national holiday is because it's not our religion. That's why.
Well,
I just
we know you're not. Chris, we know you're not into leather, but I like pigskin.
Oi, that's like so not kosher.
Yeah. Howie.
And Howie, how do you know I'm not into leather?
I don't know. I'm just calling up the radio station, and I'm hanging out with my cousin Joe today and taking it easy.
Well, that's good, and I'm glad you were able to take it easy and reach out and grab the phone and call us to stop the show completely dead.
Are we going in reverse, Chris?
Almost. If you keep talking, we may.
We may have to play the intro music all over again.
Backwards.
We have to start the show all over
again. The station manager may have to make us redo it now.
We're going to do backtracking.
Joey D and Professor Ray, did you get my text?
Yes, Joey. I saw you were attending a very nice, what was that, a luncheon there?
It was a luncheon, but kind of a dinner. It was worked out well. Did you see those gas prices?
Yeah, I know.
The gas prices.
Yeah, they're quite cheap.
It was $1.47 in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They
filled up the truck for $8.
Well,
really?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us why you were in Jersey? Besides Governor Cuomo kicking you out of the state.
Christy wants them.
Well, I was invited to a party, almost like a dinner, the Christmas dinner for the Raritan River Cadillac LaSalle Club in Dunnell, New Jersey, near Edison.
Well,
and the light bulb went off, and he said, I think I'll go.
Well,
I definitely wanted to go. It was a lot of fun.
Well, don't get used to those gas prices there, Bunky, because it's all going to go up real soon.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed your $8 fill-up, because it's probably not going to last
I just thought it was like wow.
You know what's going to happen? The refineries are going to be doing springtime maintenance. And when that happens, the price shoots up. So enjoy it now, Bubba. Bask in the warmth of low gas prices, because it's all going to come.
Christopher, I love it when you call me Bubba.
Listen, Tatalo, that's the only name he knows, all right? We have to get him up on his Yiddish over there.
You mean he has a small vocabulary? That's in his vocabulary?
That's my Yiddish vocabulary.
Yeah, we don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
hey, everything worked out nice. It was a nice trip. It was nice seeing the New Jersey guys and setting up a schedule for this year.
Right. So. Well, that's fantastic, Howie. We really do appreciate this.
Just wanted to let you know it's a national holiday. It's Super Bowl Sunday, and you guys got to have fun.
Well, okay, we're going to have fun. We're not going to watch football. So take notes and let us know what's going on. And
you'll let us know who wins, okay?
Yeah.
I'll give you guys a text. But, it's just one of my hobbies that I have.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing it with the other 12 listeners we have out there.
It's down to about 10 now.
Yeah, probably
a couple of texts. They hung up now.
They're dropping like flies. Okay, we'll talk to you soon, Howie. Enjoy the game. Speak to you later.
I will enjoy the game. Everybody have a good Sunday.
Yes, you too.
Stay safe.
Bye. Yes, and it's not a national holiday. It's not our religion. 516-572-7440. There's your phone number. Get a hold of us right here at Motormouth Radio. Joe D. Ray Guarino. I'm Chris Switzer. And hopefully we'll get another call. Because usually what happens after Howie calls
is they all run for the hills.
They do. The phones just stop. So we're all talking to each other, I'm sure, for the next 15 minutes, unless someone calls us.
Joe, what's this pile of schematics you got in front of you? That's intriguing me.
Well, what had happened was I was trying to find my notes for the show, which I usually leave in my computer case. But for some reason, those papers have escaped.
Yeah, see how that happens now, huh?
Oh, absolutely. So I just had some stuff left over from the week's adventures here, one of which was a data link connected schematic from a Saturn, because this would stop communicating and shut the car off. And
it's folded perfectly for pocket transportation.
Well, that's usually where these things end up, is in my pants until...
sometimes that may not be good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean...
not a lot of room in there.
And just so people know, these stains are actually oil stains. All right, so... essentially what happens is I was having a problem with this thing communicating. And one of the things about just about any network is that most of them are what they call a star or a hub type setup, where everything ends up in one particular module. And then what you have to do is, it's kind of like when you had phones, landlines in the house, and you had multiple extensions, and somebody leaves one phone off the hook, and then nobody gets to talk. Well, that's what kind of this is. I had to go through and I had to disconnect one by one the various modules to find out who's the one that was shutting down the whole thing. In other words, or another thing that could happen is one module starts talking about a lot of drivel, and it shuts down the entire communications network.
That's like what happens on the show.
Like when Howie happened on the show. Calls, yes.
Well, yeah.
So what really goes on? Like one sensor or one module decides to go belly up, and it creates like a domino effect?
It could short out, all right, which takes the whole thing down, all right? Or it could actually just start talking crap. And when these modules talk, if you would look at this on a scope, in other words, you plug the scan tool and you could actually pick up whichever module you want to talk to, but there's a bunch of pulses that run down the line, and the Morse code, if you will. The
zeros and ones, I'm
right, the zeros and ones, like each module has its own identifier. So the identifier, if somehow that were to get screwed up or it weren't there, now all of a sudden you have, like, say, the engine computer mixing up its messages with, say, the body computer, and now nobody's talking to nobody. Or the various things happen to these. This particular car just ended up having a short. One of the data lines just dragged the whole thing down, and rather than having the full voltage that we would expect, which is usually 0 to 7 volts, it only had about 0 to 2 volts. We found the short, clipped the wire, it was a rub through.
That's what I was going to ask you. What was the actual source of the short, the physical property of it? Right.
Yeah, I see all kinds of things with this, whether it's physical damage. Some of them have the modules themselves get weather damage. Yeah, especially certain GM cars where they place the module gets full of water.
Yeah.
I used to see a lot of like the mid-size and compact GM cars where the airbag computer would sit under the seat, and somebody would leave the window open. in the rain. And once that got drowned, everybody just shut
That
off.
sounds like the amplifier in my daughter's car that set the rear window on fire.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Yeah, it's not just a GM only thing.
Which caused us to take the whole damn dashboard apart.
Right. Trying to find that crap.
And I still think you could have found another amplifier.
Well, you didn't. You told me I will find it for you, and you didn't. So.
No, I didn't.
So it's working. Johnny and I kind of hobbled it together, so it's working. Front speakers only with just radio power, and she hasn't complained, so.
Okay.
I'm happy.
All right, well, let's not poke the bear then.
Nope.
Let's not kick the sleeping dog.
Or daughter.
Yes.
Joe D., Ray Guarino, I'm Chris Switzer. This is Motormouth Radio and the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. Drivers that can't get in and out of the vehicle without making a noise. But if you get stuck in your car, well, that seems to be your problem. We'll be coming right back right after this. These good words, we've got a lot more coming your way, plus your calls at 516-572-7440. Keep it where you got it.
7440. Joan Buckley presents Your Family's Health. Professor Joan Buckley from the NCC Nursing Department discusses health issues concerning us all. Listen to Your Family's Health Wednesdays at 11:30 a.m. and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. on 90.3 FM WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College, streaming at ncc.edu/WHPC.
Excuse me.
Motormouth Radio.
Ooh, righty. That was a good break. It was a good message. 516-572-7440. There's your phone number. We're here. Joe D., Ray Guarino. I'm Chris Switzer. Manning the board. Keeping everything calm and cool and collected. Somewhat collected. Big collected fun. Let's go to the phone. Let's go to the fun. Hi, you're on the Motormouths.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Well, thank you so much. Is this Tom?
Yeah, this is Tom from Massapequa. I was just listening to your show, and I believe, I'm into the numbers, and I heard you mention some numbers, and my lucky number is 13, so I believe you have 13 listeners.
Oh, good. You cranked it up. Okay, the percentages are better. I think the little bar graph turned from red to yellow as we're monitoring the listenership.
Well, I know one listener right now of those 12 that's probably drinking.
Oh, I have a question that I think only you guys can answer. I'm out shopping for my wife for Valentine's Day, and I'm wondering, do they have a special section in Harbor Freight that might help me with my Valentine's present to my bride?
Well, I would say that if she can go shopping in Harbor Freight and be happy, well, you should have married her.
You picked the right one.
That's it. If she can find happiness in the aisles of Harbor Freight, I would think that's the girl for me. So in which case, you should already be very thankful. As long as it's not anything like the wood chipper. You want to stay away from those sharp objects.
Right, exactly.
The wood chipper, the sawzall.
Drain cleaner.
Right, yeah.
Not good.
And the hand axes.
Right.
The roofing torch.
Have you brought it down to maybe a choice of 3, Tom, that we can choose from?
I actually have bought stuff for my wife at Harbor Freight. I've bought her carabiners. I've bought her microfiber towels. I've bought her a flashlight. Little things that she can use.
Look at this. Ray on top of
it. There, yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Son of a gun.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that.
Well, you see, I wasn't sure. I'm sitting outside of Macy's, and I'm looking at Macy's or Harbor Freight. I said, where should I go buy my wife?
You're at the Massapequa Mall.
Yes, I sure am.
I know you are. Yes. Go to White Castle. Go over to White Castle. Get some burgers first. Well, no, go over to BQ across the street and get a shake.
Oh, man. How about
I'll meet you
American?
Well, it's a little further away, but you could do All American, sure.
Yeah. All right, I have a technical question because I know this might be the right place to get misadvice.
Well,
my buddy has a Mercury Mountaineer that shuts down electronically at speed, and he believes it's an ignition problem in the column. Do you guys have? It's about a 12-year-old vehicle, Mercury Mountaineer. Do you have any knowledge about common failures in that type of situation?
While Joe burns some wood and thinks about this, I was going to say, Tom, what you can do always is you can literally Google Mercury Mountaineer cuts out at speed, and sometimes you'll get some leads on some intelligent answers.
Yeah, you got to be careful with.
You do.
You got to kind of read, and hopefully that the guy's not some type of
right. And if there's emojis,
people love to make stuff up.
Oh,
so what
I
happened?
didn't say you're the expert.
Right?
I know.
I invented the truck. I invented electricity. I invented the internet.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but so what happens? You're driving down the road, all of a sudden the thing just shuts off.
Yeah, that's it.
So you cycle the key to the off position, you start it up, and off you go.
It's intermittent. Sometimes there may not be a restart. I'm not 100% familiar with
and
the
at that
condition.
point you lose like the radio,
so it's a full combust dump.
Right.
Yeah. Most of what I'm telling you is hearsay because it's not actually happened to me. But I figured, I know you were looking for content and you didn't want to talk to each other. I figured I might be able to.
We actually had a lot of things to talk about, and we're running out of time to do it. So
yeah.
All right. Well, I'm holding you up. I just want to say hi, guys. Enjoy your show. Have a great day.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
It's called moving the caller along.
516-572-7440. So what did we want to talk about?
Well,
smelly repairs.
Yeah. Well,
smelly repairs?
This is that's kind of a segue from what I was talking about with the, when you're doing something like a data link connector diagnosis, or a lot of times when you're tracking stuff down, battery drains, things like that,
right.
You end up having to go inside the vehicle.
Yes.
Now, this may or may not be a pleasant experience.
And why is that, Joseph?
Well, because some people, like one of the guys that I like to read is Gonzo.
One of my favorites.
Gonzo Weaver, yes. He's kind of a troubleshooter, like myself.
Right.
And he was talking about working on this Ford van that he literally gagged once he opened the door.
Oh, yeah.
And he ended up having to do a brake light switch on it. And what ended up happening was that there were used diapers underneath the seat pedestal.
Oh, my God.
But I have had people with, like, meat, groceries, various hygiene products
could
that
be meat,
would not...
could be cake. Must be meat cake. Is it green meat or brown meat?
Yes.
What's the difference? 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised what people find underneath. You find underneath the seat. Not to mention the various contrabanded substances.
Sure.
Oh, sure.
But some of this stuff is I'm going to come up with a hazmat suit.
Yeah.
And not just the rubber gloves, but you really got to start wearing some type of
oxygen.
We're going to that too, breathing apparatus. So maybe find some way of using that slippery stuff that.
Rycon, yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm going to have to start bathing in Rycon.
You rub yourself down in Rycon.
Right.
Amazing, because I always feel like an automobile is an extension of you, and if you keep it like that with used diapers under the seat, like what the heck?
We've all seen that.
What kind of person is this?
Well, yeah, it's part of the it's part and parcel of the job. It's all part of the work-related hazard there.
Want to see if we can get the phone
sleep
real fast? We're going to the phones. It's to the phone. How you on with the motor mouths?
Hey, this is Ray.
Yes, it is.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe, what's up?
I'm going to say, I got a quick question. I got a 78 amount. I bought a brand new steering box. Any suggestions on a pitman arm?
A pitman arm?
Yeah, my bigger one don't fit.
Well, okay, hang on. You got to tell us what this is. Well, what it's going in. Is this going in the new car?
It's going in the 78 G body.
In the G body, yeah.
Right.
So you got the snap ring box and you went to the 4-bolt box?
Oh no, it's a 3-bolt. It's a regular GM box.
Right, but a lot of the G bodies had the light duty, the round covered snap ring box. Some of them only had like 2 bolts or 3 bolts, and then there was school 4-bolt, what you would find in just about a lot of the older, larger cars.
You're talking about the top cover?
Yes, that is correct.
4-bolt. It's actually, I got it from Craigslist Thursday. It was Saginaw box.
That's like an A-body box.
Yeah, exactly. But there were some heavy duty applications that used the 4-bolt box. You're going to have to find one that went for the G body and the 4-bolt box. It does exist.
This is actually, the guy told me he bought it for CJ5 for a Jeep. Jeeps use Saginaw boxes.
Oof-ah.
Everybody uses Saginaw boxes.
Yeah, it was kind of industry standard.
In which case, you may not find one to match then. You got to measure the diameter and compare it to the 4-bolt G-body box. In which case, I don't know.
And then pitman arm discussion is a whole other thing because you have the geometry and the drop and all that. Well,
don't lose that guy's number. You may have to go talk to him.
Yeah, Joe, we're out of time now, but I'll do a little research.
That's all right. I'll talk to you later.
All right, talk to you soon.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Well, it looks like it, Ray. Joe, we have just burned another hour here at Motormouth Radio.
In flames.
That's right.
Where's the extinguisher?
For Joe D. and Ray Guarino, I'm Chris Switzer.
Let's go out and have a national holiday.
Right, well, as soon as we can find one.
Worship at the temple.
And always remember, the advice we always give, don't follow us home. See ya.
Yeah, because you spelled that.
Yeah.